Hi, Joan. How are you?
I'm okay. My husband just walked in the door. He'd been in San Francisco visiting our son and daughter-in-law,
Ah,
and he just walked in. So I'm eating dinner and trying to do this. He's being real nice. I'd like to be talking to him about his trip, but he told me I could have my town hall time.
give me a second here.
He was just there.
There we go. Yeah, I'm back. All right, so what have you got for me this evening?
Well, my next door neighbor, who lives across the street from Daryl Orcutt,
Yeah.
may join us tonight. I'm
Oh,
hoping.
all right.
She has some iPhone questions. They're not Apple people, but she has some iPhone.
Okay.
Okay, I think I know the answer to the one. Updated apps stay and stay open. They will not go away. I shut off the automatic app update, still there, and Apple claims they're going to fix that. Is that correct?
I don't know that bug, but that certainly doesn't surprise me. You know, there's lots of little things that they definitely have to address. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
that
very, very disappointed this time.
yeah. Well, wait for 7.1. So there's, and then you
Well,
won't be
they had
disappointed.
one update to fix the fingerprint thing or whatever, but I don't use that.
Right, and that's the
That's no way.
seven. There's a big
Yeah.
difference between 7.0 and 7.1, and we're not at 7.1, and we're not going to be at 7.1 for a
No,
couple more weeks probably.
probably.
7.0.2, in other words, that digit placement is a huge thing when it comes to solving problems and things. So their engineers hard at work on solving all the little issues that have come up. Basically, when you throw a piece of software out to the world, it's a lot more likely you're going to find problems with millions of beta testers versus 1,000. So,
Right.
so yeah, they're working on it now, and they'll get to the
Okay.
bottom of all
And
the problems.
my other quick question, because I can't stay on long, because I owe it to my husband to say hello to him.
Yeah.
I cannot get more songs on my mobile devices.
Okay.
And I plugged into my computer, and they went on, and then they went away.
Do you have iTunes Match turned on? Is that anything that you're involved with?
No,
Okay.
no.
Uh, so what you need to look at is iTunes settings, and you know this already. Let me see if I can get my iTunes up and going. Choose a library.
I'm just going to put earphones in so I can hear you better.
Okay. iTunes. Here we go. I'm trying to open up iTunes now. Uh, let me see if this my iPhone is. Don't think it's going to show up over there. I have it synced to a different one. It may show up over here now. Let me see if it does. I'm actually hoping to get out of here early myself. I'm bidding
Good,
for
good, good, good.
I'm bidding for something on
I
eBay.
I don't see my neighbor yet, but her one question was what I already asked you, why they all stay, and it goes open, 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 but they don't go away after they've updated automatically. And I even shut off automatic updating, and they just stay there. But Apple claims they're going to fix it.
And I believe that to be true. I'm not seeing my iPhone over here in this library. I guess I need to deal with that. I can't get my iPhone connected over here. It's married to a different computer. But you would select that. What I would suggest you do if you're having problems with your music in iTunes, moving music over to your iPhone, I say the word I so many times all day long. So, or the letter I. So you'd select that in
What
the
does the letter I stand for? I didn't know.
Internet. Back in
Okay. Okay, got
1998.
it.
Yeah, with the Bondi Blue iMac. So you plug that up, and over on the left-hand column of iTunes, your phone will show up as always. Go over to where it
Yeah.
says songs in the top screen that goes across. Select that, and when you select that, I would remove all the music and sync the phone, and then add over the playlists again that you want. In other words, give it a good clean start.
Okay, because I thought it was going to, I unchecked songs I didn't like. Now I'm getting an echo, now that I put headphones in.
Yeah, I think maybe Shirley, you might have your volume up a little on the loud side. If you can turn your volume down a little bit, Shirley.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, Joan, you were saying.
Um, that was basically my problems. Okay, I'm still getting a horrible echo.
Yeah, let me mute Shirley for just a second here and see if that helps.
Shirley, are you my neighbor, Shirley?
Well, I've muted her. I've muted her for a second. Shirley, you're
Okay.
muted at the moment because her volume's kind of
I
loud.
don't know if you have other Shirleys, but
I-
she did have.
I do, and I'll get to Shirley in just a second. So let's finish up with you. What I would suggest when you plug that iPod up, the iPhone, iPod, same thing, just wipe the music off of the device and put the music back on again. In other words, resync it with a fresh new set of playlists.
Okay, now I unchecked songs I did not want on it,
Mm-hmm.
and they came on briefly and then disappeared. They went back up to the cloud.
Well, make sure that iTunes, of course, iTunes has to be up to date in order to plug an iOS 7 device up.
You know me, I'm always too up to date.
Yeah. Now, I don't have a good explanation as to why that music is disappearing other than just take all the music off. In other words, remove music, unsync music from the device completely so there's no music on the device, and then go back in and check and resync again with music selected this time.
Okay.
It's kind of,
give that a try.
it's kind of like you cook breakfast in the morning and then lunch in the afternoon and dinner in the evening, and you use the same counter space, but in between those meals, you should clean off your counters completely. And that's what you need to do here. You have a problem in the afternoon and you're trying to solve the problem by not cleaning it off for the dinner. You know what? If you're going to make dinner, just wipe the whole thing away and then put it back on again, and that usually solves the problem. 9 times out of 10 that solves the problem. But
Okay, you know me, that always scares me a little bit.
well, it solves the problem usually. I'm going to turn Shirley on, and we
Okay,
might get
good.
that echo. Shirley, I'm going to get ready to unmute you. How are you doing, Shirley? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, and there doesn't seem to be an echo here at the moment. So, Shirley, is this a Shirley that I worked with in the last couple of days, or is this a new Shirley that I don't know?
This is a new Shirley you don't know.
All right, well, nice to meet you.
Okay, that's my neighbor and Daryl's
Joan.
neighbor.
Hi, Joan.
Hi, Shirley.
Yeah, Joan is a regular here. Go ahead.
I had several questions, Scott, but I think they might have been resolved. One of them was when you update your apps, the old asset update don't disappear. I understand that that's a bug, and that's going to be taken care of.
Yeah, most likely.
That's one. And the other thing was, I hate the new calendar. I mean, with a passion. And I downloaded a calendar called Weekly Calendar, I think it is, and it works fantastic.
Okay.
But I don't know if they plan on changing the calendar back, but
No, they do not.
well, I'm glad I changed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, as I've gone through my week or the last 2 weeks, I ask everyone that I work with, hey, have you updated? And they usually say yes. And then I say, so do you like iOS 7 or not? And I would say at this point, the percentage is, which surprises me, about 70% of the clients that I've worked with over the past 2 weeks absolutely love it. They think it's the greatest thing in the world. About 25 to 30% do not like it at all. That's been my experience.
I like everything but the calendar. I'm doing fine.
Yeah, the calendar is tough because one thing that I will recommend to you is if you do a couple things. For me, my eyes are going. I've got reading glasses all over the place, and I just can't see anymore. So a couple of things that I do now is, and you can follow along on my screen to at least help through this iOS crisis that I'm in anyway, is you go into settings.
Okay.
Once you go into settings, you go down to general. And then you'll see two things that help you. Number one is the text size variable. If you select that text size there, you can increase that. You may have already found that.
I did that already.
Good. The other
One
thing,
I did, but it didn't help the calendar.
right, it doesn't. The other thing that might help is if you go into accessibility and you turn on bold. Now, when you turn bold on,
Okay.
your phone is going to have to restart. It'll shut down completely and then restart. And then certain text, not all text, but certain text will be in bold. And I don't know if the calendar is affected by that. I want to say no. So, yeah, it's definitely go ahead.
Well, it's not only that, but in order to see in order to see what the events you have, you can't see it when you press the little dot anymore. You have to go into it to see it.
Right.
And that's annoying. And you can't, it's just, and when you go to go to the next month, you got to watch it because it spins like a banshee. It just keeps on going.
Yeah, and that's
Those are just some things. But I'm happy with the weekly calendar that I got now. And it was $1.99, best $1.99 I spent.
okay. Well, that's good to know.
I just have one other question.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, I have one other question.
Uh-huh.
And when we had our contacts, I can't even remember on Sept. When we had our contacts, was there an easier way to delete your contacts other than going into the contact, editing, and going down to delete? Is that how we've always done it?
Let me look because I don't think they've changed the way
Can
to
you just
delete.
Swipe it, I guess is what I'm asking.
I think you can turn. I think there's an edit key at the top. Let me go find my contacts. There they are. Give me a second. Let me take a look at this.
Sure.
Edit contacts. Yeah, what you're saying is to edit each one. I tell you what I would do. Honestly, Shirley, instead of dealing with them on the phone, I would deal with them on the computer that they are synced to. Now, you don't have a Mac. You have a Windows machine. Is that correct?
Right, but I go to iCloud, and that's what I did in the very beginning, and that's a great idea. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I would then do
I
it
would do that.
do it from iCloud.com, and that'll be easier because you can hold like the command or the option key down and select multiple contacts at once, and then delete them all at the same time.
Right, that's good. I just updated within the last few days, so I'm still learning it. I don't have a whole lot of questions other than that. I'm hoping that I'll learn something tonight.
Yeah. Well, we only have 2 people in here this evening. Sometimes it's packed. Sometimes there are only a few people. Tonight it looks like it's extremely light. So if you guys have any other questions for me that you can think of?
I do. Also, with regard to my songs, I can't swipe anymore to delete them.
Your songs.
On my iPhone.
That means that you're probably syncing your entire iTunes library. You can, when you plug your phone up to iTunes, you have 2 choices. Either sync the entire library or a la carte, meaning this playlist and that playlist or these songs and that song. If you select the entire library, then you cannot manually delete songs individually because that would go against the whole concept of this being a clone of that. So the only way you're going to be able to delete individual songs off of your iPhone is that if you previously synced it to iTunes manually.
Okay, I did it manually, and I only selected like 2/3 of my songs. And they went on, and then I told you previously they went away. But even now, I only have about 50 songs, and you used to be able to swipe to delete.
Yeah, I don't think I have an answer for that. If this is probably one of those things, if it was in my hands, I could solve it. There's so many variables there that I can't figure out what might be going wrong. There are a lot of different things that could be causing that possibly. But I can't. I don't think I can solve this one over the conference here, unfortunately. Yes,
Scott,
Shirley.
Yes, one other question. You know, when you're looking at your iPhone and you swipe it up and you get the little gray, it has the flashlight, the calculator.
Yeah, that's Control Center, right?
Control Center. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any way you can change what you want to control down the bottom?
No, unfortunately not. I would hope that will become a variable later down the road where you'll be able to take off the lock button and put on some other little thing. But no, right now you cannot customize the screen.
Okay, and one other thing, when my phone goes into, shuts off, and I want to turn it on. I have the lock screen so that I don't have, I just have to swipe the lock screen
Yeah.
to get into it. The lock screen now is like blurred. You can't see it very well. Is there any way to make it so that?
No. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's if you look at my phone, I don't think that maybe blurred is not the right word.
It's not the right word.
It's transparent, is what I think you're saying. If you look down there, yeah. So what Apple's doing here is they're assuming that you've seen an iPhone in the last 5 or 6 years, and you know that's how you swipe now. For a brand new user that picked the iPhone up for the very first time, that would be confusing to them. But now for us, it's just they're making it cosmetic over function, form over function. That's the whole phrase I can sum up with iOS 7.
Okay, and I've got 4S right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking about our contract is up, and I'm thinking about going to the 5. Big difference between 5S and 5C.
Yeah, you want me to tell you the differences, or you?
Well, I know the differences, but I mean, which one would be better to get? I mean, for
The 5C obviously does not have the same camera. It's got a slower processor. So I think overall the 5S is the better phone to get. If you're pulled by the whole concept of, hey, I've got colors and it's plastic, then the 5C would be fine and a little bit cheaper. If you put those two elements, it's a little bit cheaper and it's colorful, and those are the things that really push your buttons, then go with the 5C. But overall, if you invest $100 more in the 5S, in the long run, you're going to get a little bit longer life out of it in terms of speed, because with the 5C, you're starting with last year's processor.
right. Yeah, I'm planning on. I want to get the 5S, but I just wanted to check with you and see which one you were, leaning towards.
I would always, me personally, I'm going to get the 5S every time. I'm going to get the top of the line. Now, I'm not going to spend the extra money on the extra storage, but that's a different conversation. Joan, do you go with the larger storage?
No,
Okay. Yeah.
I mainly use my phone to play games.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions, anybody?
Text.
All right, well, I'm going to get out of here this evening. Shirley, I record this every Monday, and then I post it up to my website at my area, salesconsulting.com, so I've got previous town halls there as well as this one. So I will see you guys again next week. Shirley, if you join us in the future, get a pair of headphones, and that might eliminate the feedback that we're hearing.
I have some. Let me just see really fast.
Yeah, let's see if that works. And I wonder if Shirley's connecting on a Windows machine or if she's going through her iPad, or because you can actually join the meeting from an iPad.
I told her she should borrow her husband's iPad.
Yeah. What's happening
Yeah,
is
I'll get my iPhone earplugs on next time.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it.
no problem. Well, thanks for joining us, and I will see you guys again next week.
Thank you very much, Scotty.
Bye.
Thanks for your
Night,
help.
Shirley.
Night, Joe.
The organizer has ended the session, and this